Come hike with me on the Eagle Creek Trail to Tunnel Falls. Tunnel Falls is a 14-mile out and back trail with about 1,300 feet of elevation gain. That elevation gain is pretty spread out, so it is pretty gradual and you really won't feel too many moments that are very strenuous. I would rate this as a hard hike based off of the distance, the very rocky terrain, and also the steep drop-offs. If you have a fear of heights, this may be a very challenging hike for you. As you can see here, cables are lined on the side of the cliff that has the steepest drop-offs, which can be really helpful. You pass a number of waterfalls, both named and unnamed, along the way. There is not a whole lot of shade on this trail, and that is because there was a big wildfire back in 2017, which left a lot of the trees burnt. But as you can see, there's a lot of new growth and new life, which is always amazing to see. About the halfway point, you'll reach the High Bridge area, and that's halfway to Tunnel Falls, not halfway through the hike. There's a number of lovely areas where you can stop and rest if you should need to do so. This is an example of the rocky terrain, and this is really most of the hike. My feet hurt pretty bad at the end of this, and yours probably will too, especially if you're not used to that. I highly recommend wearing very comfy, thick socks. We started this trail pretty early, about 6 a.m., because this is a very popular trail for hikers and for backpackers. After about 7 miles, you will reach Tunnel Falls, surrounded by ferns. It's a very unique experience as you get to walk behind a man-made tunnel that the falls goes over top. I've been behind a number of different waterfalls, and this is the only one that I've been to that has this kind of experience. Once you reach the other side, you will notice a big drop-off, so just be careful where you walk. About a quarter mile up the trail is Twister Falls. This is a great turnaround point, and it's also a great point to have a snack or a lunch. I have a friend that has excellent picnicking skills, so we had a gourmet picnic right here at the top of the waterfalls before we headed back through the tunnel once more. This area does get very populated as it's the highlight of this trail, so just be mindful of other people in this area because the path is very, very thin and the drop-offs are very, very steep in this area. Once you come out of the tunnel, you are going back the same way you came in, 7 miles to the parking lot. We stopped here for a little rest along the way, and on this trail, there were a number of butterflies. Here's a couple pictured here, but this was probably the most variety of butterflies I have ever seen on a trail. These ones were quite a bit larger, but we saw all different kinds on this trail. And here we are back at the High Bridge, and this is halfway through the second half of the hike and coming up along another cable section, back past some waterfalls and some excellent views. I will say that after you've been hiking for, I think it's about 10 to 11 miles at this point, you are ready to be done with this trail, and the last 2 miles really do feel like the longest